everybody tight over the top of the table over in League 2 with just 2 points separating first from bloody third. That's right, but who will be in the automatic spots at the end of this weekend? We're going to take a look at that. How much more? Next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video today. It's all about Matchday number 41. 41, wow. The final 6 games, that's right. Who will be in the automatics at the end of this weekend? We'll take a look at it in a second. Of course, if you know where you've been, your one-stop shop for League 2 is right here under one rooski. That's right, we've got big games coming up this weekend. And well, of course, before we look at those, look back at last weekend's drama. But big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons, you know who you are. Let's, of course, jump back into those last round of games. And, of course, remind us of what went on. Of course, double match week over in League 2, and of course these were the games. That's right, here they are. Stanley did lose to Fleetwood convincingly, 4-1 loss. Big win for Fleetwood there. Are they out of the playoff discussion? We'll showcase you that in a minute. Barrow and Salford with a 1-1 draw and with a home win. Crewe did beat Grimsby 2-0 as predicted. Doncaster and Walsall ended in a 2-2 thriller and with a 2-1 home win. Chesterfield did beat Carlisle 2-1, who do look down right now. Gillingham and Colchester end up all square as predicted. Morecambe with the cheeky 2-0 win over Cheltenham Town, giving themselves a big old boost down the foot. Harrogate, big win for them over Tranmere 3-2 and went the other way. Newport County and Bromley drew 1-1, with Port Vale beating Bradford 2-0. I went with a 2-1 win, and Swindon beat Wimbledon 2-1. I went with a 1-0 win. Now, there is another game. I think that is actually taking place tonight. That's Notts County against MK Dons, and yeah, well, we jumping the gun here, get the video out before that match. Anyway, so let's take a look then at the table, because it is a little bit spicy, as you can see. Walsall remain tip at the top of the table with 72 points. They've gone on a winless run for a long time now. And at the moment, they could be on the out. They could be looking like staying in the division, or at least getting into the playoffs, which is a bit of a anticlimax for Walsall. Been running away with the league for a long time now. Bradford and Port Vale also in there, but don't rule out the likes of Doncaster, Wimbledon, or even Notts County getting into that automatic spots. It is crazy over in League 2, and also the race for the playoffs with Crewe, Colchester, maybe even Chesterfield, and maybe even Salford have got an outside sniff. Going down, big boost for Morecambe. They need a couple more wins if they are to get out of it. Just 4 points clear, though, or 4 points adrift, should we say, of Tranmere at the moment. Stanley also got to be thinking about possibilities of relegation as well. Again, I do apologise about this, but it just keeps on going. It just adds to the excitement. Just keep doing your prediction leagues. I will bring you back up today next week for sure, 100%. I know there are the possibility of some games being next week, but it's not full match week, and I'll bring you back up to date with the next video. I promise you. But these are the next round of games, and they're coming at you this coming weekend. Of course, again, we do have the Notts County MK Dons match. I think I would have went, or I did go with a home win on that one. So let's just bypass that and head into the weekend's drama. Kick it all off with a visit to Cheltenham. That's right, Cheltenham taking on Doncaster. Coming over at Cheltenham, Flynn's boys are all the way down into 15th right now. They are winless in the last 4 matches, just 1 win the last 6. Up against Doncaster, the Grant McCann, they are 4th with 67% form for them. 67 points for them, 58% form, just 1 defeat in the last 6. However, they've drawn 3 of that last 4. They played Cheltenham 13 times since 2003. Doncaster winning 7 of them. There's been 3 draws, and there's been 3 wins for Cheltenham, of course. Last time around at this very venue was a 4-0 win for Cheltenham way back in March 2022. The reverse fixture, a 2-2 draw at the Keep Moat way back in December. Doncaster on the back of that 2-2 draw as well against Walsall. Cheltenham on the back of that 2-0 loss to Tranmere. They haven't scored a goal in the last 3 matches. They've got that disease. Do you remember when Cheltenham went on that goalless run? I think it was last season. I think it was like 15, 20 games without scoring a goal. Crazy stuff. Anyway, the bookies' odds on this one, they'll back Doncaster for the victory here. I'm also backing Doncaster to keep the heat with the top 3 with a 2-1 away win. Let's go to our best Scott then, as Walsall take on Port Vale. What a classic this is. It is first, it is third. It's coming at you this coming Saturday, the 5th of April. Played each other 27 times, these two clubs, since 1999. 12 wins Walsall, 8 wins Port Vale. There's been 7 draws. Walsall sitting top right now, 72 points for the season. They've not won in the last 8 matches. However, they are unbeaten in the last 4 and just 1 loss in the last 6. So the one loss in the last 5, unbeaten whatever. They've been drawing a shit ton load of games. I guess Port Vale have won 4 out of the last 5, and they do sit third in the table with 70 points. Last time around at the Bescot was a 2-0 win for Walsall way back in April 2022. Walsall actually won 5 on the spin against Port Vale, and then conceded a goal against them in the last 3. However, they're coming into this on the back of 4 successive draws. Port Vale coming into this without conceding a goal in the last 5 matches. Absolutely crazy. When I say last 5 matches, I mean 4 of the last 5 matches, because my eyes are shot. It is 6:10 a.m. So please bear with me as I navigate this bad boy. Anyway, coming at you, the bookies odds. It is tight. Walsall are expected to win. I'm going on the fence here. 1-1 in the end, point apiece, which doesn't do anybody any good, really. Meanwhile, let's go to Tranmere. They're taking on Chesterfield. Of course, probably one of the earlier kickoffs. That's right. Tranmere under Andrew Crosby. They sit 22nd right now, just 1 defeat in the last 6 up against Chesterfield. And Paul Cook, who sit 10th right now, 58% form, and they were unbeaten in at least the last 6 matches. Been 5 of those last 6. They played Tranmere 17 times since 2003. 11 wins Tranmere, 4 wins Chesterfield. There's been 2 draws between the 2 sides. Last time around, over at Tranmere, we have a 2-1 win for Tranmere way back in December 2012. That was in the FA Cup. Last time I played in Tranmere in the league, it was a 1-0 win for Tranmere way back in August 2011. That was in League One. Now, they already played each other this season. It was a 3-0 win for Chesterfield way back in December 2024. Chesterfield, though, on the back of that 2-1 win over Carlisle. Tranmere on the back of that 3-2 loss to Harrogate. That's right. Meanwhile, the odds for this one, Tranmere are expected to lose this one. Chesterfield expected to walk away with all 3 points. I'm going with a 2-1 win as well. Going with the bookies on this one for Chesterfield to boost in their playoff hopes. Once again, Wimbledon are playing action against Harrogate Town. That's right, coming at you over at the Cherry Records Stadium. Johnny Jackson's boys are 5th right now, 65 points for the season. Just 1 win though in the last 5. Against Harrogate, Simon Weaver, just 1 win, 1 defeat in the last 6. They are cooking right now. 20th in the table, 45 points for the season. They played Wimbledon 5 times since 2022. They've yet to get a win. Wimbledon have won 3 times, and there's been 2 draws between the 2 sides. Last time around, over at Wimbledon, it was a 1-1 draw. That was back in March 2024. Meanwhile, the reverse fixture over at Harrogate with a 3-0 win for Wimbledon way back in December. The Dons, though, on the back of that 2-1 loss to Swindon. Harrogate on the back of that 3-2 impressive victory against Tranmere Rovers. They are, of course, the bookies coming at you with Wimbledon red-hot favourites for the victory. I'm going with the Wimbledon win as well. 2-0 winners in their own backyard. Next up, we got another spicy one at the Valley Parade. This Bradford City is taking on Crewe Alexandra right now, of course. Did Graham Alexander once manage Crewe? Is my memory deceiving me? It could be. Anyway, they played each other 30 times, these 2 sides, since 1997. 13 wins for Bradford, 11 wins for Crewe. There's been 6 draws between the 2 sides. Bradford currently sits 2nd in the table with 70 points, just 1 win in the last 5 up against Crewe. The Lee Bell, they sit 8th with 61 points, just 1 defeat in the last 5, of course, but they have drawn 3 of the last 5 matches. They played each other 30 times, of course. Last time around, at Valley Parade was a 1-0 win for Bradford back in August 2023. Meanwhile, the reverse fixture at Grimsby Road was a 1-1 draw way back in December 2024. Crewe, though, on the back of a 2-0 win over Grimsby. Bradford losing to Port Vale most recently, make it back-to-back games without a goal. In fact, they were scoreless in 4 of the last 5 matches. Goodness gracious me. However, the bookies on this one, they'll go with Bradford to get the victory. I'm going with the 3-1 as well. To boost the chances, and with Walsall drawing, it could be opportunity knocks for Bradford to go into the driving seat. Let's go Bromley then. Up against Accrington, Stanley, Bromley under Andy Woodman. They are winless in the last 5 matches. They sit 13th in the table with 53 points. Up against Stanley under John Doolan, 21st in the table, 42 points for the season. They are winless in the last 4. Now, they played just the once since 2024. It was a 2-1 win for Bromley. That was over in Accrington way back in December 2024. Bromley on the back of a 1-1 draw against Newport County. Stanley on the back of that 4-1 loss to Fleetwood Town. The bookies for this one, they go with Bromley. They're much better at the moment. Of course, Stanley, I've got that fear of relegation hanging over their heads still. I'm going with a 1-0 win, Bromley, boosting their chances to go up the table, and of course increasing the chances of Accrington Stanley going down. One team that is going down, it looks like, is Carlisle. They're taking on Newport County. Carlisle currently find themselves rock bottom, 24th in the table, 31 points for the season, just 1 win in the last 6 matches. They are playing, though, Newport County, who are in 17th with 47 points, and they're on identical form for them, just 1 win in the last 6 matches. They played each other 19 times since 2014. 5 wins Carlisle, 9 wins Newport. There's been 5 draws between the 2 sides. Last time around, over at Carlisle, it was a 2-0 win for the hosts way back in January 2023. The reverse fixture in Wales, it was a 1-0 win for Newport back in February 2025. Last time around, Carlisle with a 2-1 loss to Chesterfield. Newport County with a draw against Bromley. Last time Carlisle were at home, though, they did pick up a draw against MK Dons. The odds, though, for this one, Carlisle expected to win, and it's a shame, but I think they are still, despite this performance, I think they'll win this game, but I think they still will go down. 2-0 winners, Carlisle taking the W on this one. Let's go Colchester against Notts County. This one's spicy, isn't it? Colchester currently find themselves in 9th. Notts County are in 6th. There is a good 6 points between the two sides heading into this one. Colchester, though, are 59 points. They're winless in the last 3 matches up against Notts County. Stuart Maynard just 1 defeat in the last 4. They played 23 times since 2002. 6 wins Colchester, 13 wins Notts County. There's been 4 draws between the two sides. Last time around at Colchester, I'm not sure if I'm reading this right. They're a 9-goal thriller, and 5-4 it was for Colchester back in September 2023. If you were at that game, let me know down below. Of course, meanwhile, Notts County with a 1-1 draw against Colchester in the reverse fixture back in February. Colchester on the back of that 1-1 draw against Gillingham. Notts County with a 2-0 win over Newport County. Make it back-to-back clean sheets for them. The bookies are going to find this one tight. It is very, very tight. Could go either way, but Colchester slightly have the edge, and I'm also giving it to them as well. 2-1 winners on the night. Fleetwood Town up against Swindon Town. That's right, coming at you at Highbury. Fleetwood under Pete Wild, 12th in the table, just 56 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Swindon and Ian Holloway, 14th in the table, 51 points for the campaign, just 1 defeat in the last 6 as well. They played 9 times since 2014. 2 wins Fleetwood, 4 wins Swindon, 3 draws between the two sides. Last time around at this venue, it was a 2-0 win for Swindon way back in March 2021. That was in League One. The reverse fixture, also a 3-1 win for Swindon back in December. The visitors on the back of that 2-1 win over Wimbledon, most recently coming into this. Fleetwood on the back of that 4-1 win over Stanley. They've scored 8 goals in the last 2 games combined, and both of those matches were at home. The odds for this one, though, what are we looking at? We're looking at Fleetwood for the victory. They're expecting it. I'm going with a draw, point apiece. As the Swindon draw regime continues. Into the final 3, we have Grimsby up against Morecambe coming at Blundell Park. Grimsby under David Artell, 7th in the table, 62 points for the season. They've won 3 and lost 3 over the last 6. Up against Morecambe under Derek Adams, they are 23rd, 36 points for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 4 and back-to-back wins. They're coming at you, playing Grimsby for the 25th time. The previous 24, I've seen 7 wins for Grimsby, 10 wins Morecambe, and there's been 7 draws between the two sides. Last time around at Grimsby, it was a 3-2 win for Grimsby back in November 2023. The reverse fixture over at Morecambe was also a big win for Grimsby. 3-0 winners in the end. The hosts on the back of a 2-0 loss to Crewe most recently. Morecambe, though, on the back of those back-to-back home wins, back-to-back clean sheets as well. Their first match on the road in a bit, though. The odds are going with the Grimsby, but they're expected to win. I'm going with the Grimsby win as well, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope Morecambe can do the great escape. And then MK Dons taking on Barrow, coming at you at the Stadium MK, of course, double match week for them with the game taking place today against Notts County, but they're taking on Barrow and Andrew Wing. That's right, Ben Gladwin's boys. Is that still the case? Ben Gladwin's boys, 18th in the table, 46 points for the season. 1-1, lost 1, drew 1 over the last 3. Up against Barrow and Andrew Wing, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They sit 16th with 49 points compared to MK Dons at 46. They play 3 times since 2023. 2 wins Barrow, nothing for MK, and 1 draw. Last time around over at this very venue, it was a 2-2 draw way back in October 2023. The reverse fixture in Barrow was a 2-1 win for Barrow way back in Feb. Fleetwood, though, beating MK Dons 4-2 quite convincingly. Barrow on the back of that 1-1 draw against Salford. The odds for this one, we'll find it a little bit difficult, but MK Dons are expected to win. I'm going with the 2-1 win as well for the host. And then we wrap it all up with Salford. That's right, up against Gillingham over at Salford. Carl Robinson's boys are getting back into good form right now, maybe at the right time. They sit 11th for 57 points, just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Gareth Ainsworth's Gillingham, unbeaten in the last 5, however, drawn 4 on the spin. They sit 19th right now. They played Salford 5 times since 2022. 4 wins Gillingham, 1 win for Salford. There's been no draws between the two sides. Last time around over at Salford, it was a 2-0 win for Gillingham way back in March 2024. The reverse fixture, also a 1-0 win for Gillingham back in December this campaign. The Gills on the back of 4 successive draws, including back-to-back 1-1 draws. Salford also on the back of a draw against Barrow. This does feel like it could be a draw here, but the bookies are backing Salford. I'm also going for Salford with a 1-0 win, but it could well be a draw. Anyway, if I'm right, which I bloody well hope so, this is what the table will look like. Now, I've not included that extra MK Dons game on this one, so their points, as well as Notts County Sports, could be a little bit different. But to be honest with you, it's looking tight still. Walsall top on goal difference ahead of Bradford City, with Port Vale still in the mixer. Going down, Carlisle and Morecambe still as you were, but it could all change, of course, with 5-ish games remaining. So make sure you subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. Until then, I'm just about done, but what I am going to say is I'm going to hope to drop, of course, we'll bring it back up to date with the predictioning, but I hope to drop my the run-in here, the last 5 games, who I think is going to make the playoffs, who I think is going to go down, etc., etc. That video I hope to have out early next week. But until then, we're done.